Good evening and welcome to yet another online tutorial on microwaves and antennas. We are into module 2 now, right? So today we'll start with actually what module 2. So this is a very small module, and in this we'll be studying about various microwave passive devices. So before we study various microwave passive devices, we should know how to describe them using actually what microwave network parameters, right? That is about actually what microwave network theory we have seen in first module itself, right? Microwave networks are different from our lump networks. They are actually what distributed network. Here time as well as space has to be considered. So here in microwave network, having a conducting copper wire, right? It cannot be considered as a short circuit, right? Why? Because along the length of a transmission line there will be voltage variation. Why? Because the frequency which we are using is very high, so the wavelength will be actually what comparable to the dimensions of the components. For instance, right, in labs you may be using actually what frequencies up to 1 megahertz, right? That 1 megahertz, the corresponding lambda will be, I think, 300 meter, right? What does that mean? If suppose I have a transmission line like this, right? If I'm giving a 1 megahertz signal here, and if the effect takes finite time to propagate, right? For instance, if we are assuming it is the effect that is voltage or current, it is propagating at the velocity of light, right? So if I take a snapshot of that at any given time, right, the voltage distribution will be like this, and the distance for 360-degree complete phase rotation will be actually what lambda. That will be actually what 300 meter if it is 1 megahertz signal. So 1 megahertz is actually what it is the ceiling, almost actually what the maximum sort of 1 to 2 megahertz is what you are using in lab when you are conducting some discrete component experiment, right? But whereas actually what in microwave network theory, what happens is it will be of the order of gigahertz. If it is 1 gigahertz, the lambda will be actually what of the order of 30 centimeter. So what happens is, so if you have a lump circuit which involves actually a resistor, capacitor and conducting wires, maybe the dimension of this will be somewhere around say 10 to 20 centimeter. So when you consider 10 to 20 centimeter, the frequency 1 megahertz, right? When we are considering this propagation time, right? So the distance taken for the wave to change a phase of 360 degree, that is actually what around 300 meters. So compared to 300 meter, this 10 centimeter is actually what very less. So when you consider very small distance, like a wave of wavelength 300 meter, on that if you consider 10 centimeter, you can assume actually what the voltage across the length of 10 centimeter is a constant. That's why in lump circuit theory you are telling if it is a conducting wire, it can act as a short circuit. Whereas in microwave network theory, we are dealing with very high frequency. 1 gigahertz itself is actually what 30 centimeter, which means if you have a 30 centimeter wire, right, at any given time, if you take a snapshot, the voltage variation will be like this. Voltage will start from 0, it will go to maximum, right? It will become negative and again come back to 0. A 360-degree voltage variation will be there. So this voltage and current will not only be a function of time, it will be a function of actually what space and time, right? So this there we have to use the scattering network parameter, or we'll call S parameter, right? S parameter, it is useful for distributed network where space variable also to be considered. So I'll just explain what actually is the space variable when we review the say already familiar network parameters Z, Y, H, A, B, C, D and all, right? But for instance, right, you can these Z, Y, H, A, B, C, D as such cannot be defined for this distributed networks, that is microwave networks, right? For that S parameter is used, right? And when I say S parameter is used for distributed network, it doesn't mean it cannot be used for lump network. It is equally applicable for lump network also, right? So what we will do is in today's session, if possible, right, I'll introduce what are the variables or parameters used in S parameter representation, right? Then if I can represent voltage and current as a function of this A and B will be the parameter variables in distribute S parameter equivalent. So we'll try to represent that, how to represent A and B in terms of V and I in terms of A and B, right? So that will help us to convert from S parameter to other parameters and all those stuff, right? So, and unlike the actual normal Z, Y, H, ABCD parameters, right? Here, the parameter variables are not voltage and current. Instead of that, these are some functions of, or the functions A and B, right? The functions or the variables are A and B. They are related to incident and reflected power, right? They are related to incident and reflected power. I'll explain what is that. Right. Then these S parameters are universal parameters, so you can apply it even for free space, right? Which means you have a say a transmitter, an antenna is radiating, right, and another antenna is receiving. So even in that case also, actually what you can use as parameter, it need not always be lumped circuit, right? So that is actually what scattering network parameters or S parameter. You have not studied this. This is a new topic to you, but this is very, very important and interesting topic, right? This is very, very important and interesting topic. So what we'll do is we'll just quickly review the parameter descriptions which you have studied for two-port lumped network. So I have a lumped network, two-port lumped network, right? So I'm just representing it like this. So this is actually what a network, right? So this is port 1 and this is port 2, right? The voltage here is actually what, plus minus V1, and the current flowing is I1, and here the voltage is plus minus V2, and the current actually what I can call it as actually what, I2. This network can be anything. It's a passive lumped network, right? It's a passive lumped network. So for example, it can be like what? Can be a network like this. I'm telling an example, right? It can be a network like this. So this is port 1, this is port 2, right? So it is V1, and the voltage here it is V2. This is I2, and this is I1, right? So using these Z, Y, H, ABCD parameters, what we can do is we can describe this network. This network, whatever it may be, right? We can describe this network. So in lumped network theory, when I say a port is actually what, a pair of terminal. In lumped network theory, right? In lumped network theory, a port means pair of terminals, right? Pair of terminals. So in this case, actually what I have, this R1, R2, C, right? Then I have these two connecting wires. These two connecting wires I can consider as port, and along the length of the connecting wire, it's actually, this connecting wire will act as a short circuit, right? In lumped network theory, we are assuming the resistance, capacitance, inductance are actually what, confined to a single point, right? And the conducting wires are short circuit. That is what we are assuming, right? So in lumped, a port means actually what, a pair of terminal. But when we come to distributed network, that concept will change. That's why I told it initially itself, right? So now what we can do is we can just quickly recollect what were those actually what Z, Y, H, ABCD parameters. So if you consider this two-port network case, right? Z parameter represents something in terms of actually what, Z11, Z12, Z21, Z22, right? Right. So maybe here these two actually what I've drawn, these actually what blank vectors. We have to fill it with voltages and current. So in Z parameter, can anyone tell me what is represented in terms of what? So in Z parameter or impedance parameter, V1 and V2 are represented in terms of actually what, I1 and I2. So this is actually what, Z parameter. You have already studied this, right? Z parameter representation. So I can write V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2, and V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2, right? So this is Z parameter. So in this, if you want to describe this network using its, right, if you want to describe this network using its Z parameter, right, I should tell what is this Z11, Z21, Z12, Z22. So how to find out that? For instance, if I want to find what is Z11, what I should do, Z11 will be, from this, it will be equal to V1 by I1 when I2 equal to 0, right? This is how you are given a network, right? If you want to find what is Z11 or Z12, what you should do is to find, I'm just giving an example, Z11, right? It is V1 by I1 when I2 is equal to 0. V1 by I1 when I2 equal to 0. So I have to make I2 to be equal to 0, right? If I should make I2 to be equal to 0, what I should do? I should open circuit this port 2, right? I should open circuit this port 2. So I2 equal to 0 means OC port 2, right? Open circuit port 2, right? So I should be able to open circuit. So similarly, if I want to find Z21, it is nothing but what? V2 by I1 when I2 is 0. So again, open circuit port 2. And Z22 will be actually what? V2 by I2 when I1 is 0. So I1 is 0 means open circuit port 1. So I have to either open circuit or short circuit. So in case of actually what? Z parameter, I have to open circuit, right? So similarly, in case of Y parameter, what was Y parameter? Anyone remember? Y parameter is, it represents something in terms of actually Y11, Y12, Y21, Y22, right? What was Y parameter? Y parameter represents, right? It is actually what? Inverse of impedance, admittance parameter. It will represent I1 and I2 in terms of V1 and V2. So I can write I1 is equal to Y11 times, V1 plus Y12 times V2, and I2 is equal to Y21 times V1 plus Y22 times V2, right? So in this case, if I have to find what is Y21, right? Suppose I have to find Y21. I'm just taking examples. Y21, if I have to find, it should be equal to I2 by V1 when V2 is equal to 0. So how can I make V2 0? So this is our network. Suppose this is our network, right? How can I make V2 0? For that, I should short circuit, right? I should short circuit port 2. Then only I can make V2 equal to 0. So this is the problem, right? So the problem with Z, Y, H or ABCD parameters, if you have to describe a network using these parameters, you should either perfectly open circuit or you should perfectly short circuit this, right? You should either perfectly open circuit or perfectly short circuit. But this perfect open circuit or perfect short circuit, that is not, right, very easy in the case of microwave networks. That is one thing, right? Perfect open circuit and perfect short circuit, it is not that easy, right? Why? Because if you consider a conductor as a short circuit, you can tell along the length of the conductor itself actually what voltage will change, right? So perfect open circuit and perfect short circuit are not possible. And one more thing, right, in microwave networks, right, normally what we have is, for an example, if you take a transmission line, we don't have a device which can measure the exact voltage or current, right, at any given port. We don't have, it's not that easy to measure voltage and current along the line. But what we can do is we can somehow measure power, right? We have a VSWR meter and all those stuff. Using that, we can measure power. So that power measurement becomes actually what? Easier. Power, when I say, right, we have pointing vector, that is actually what? E cross H. This is instantaneous pointing vector. And average pointing vector, it is equal to actually what? Half real part of E into H conjugate, right? This. This is average pointing vector. So this finding power is actually what? Easy. So that's why this parameters in terms of V and I, it's not straightforward for microwave networks. Instead of that, we have to go for some power basing. So you don't know what is that, but I'm just telling you, right? I'm just trying to convince you what are these, right? I'm just trying to convince why do we need to go for S parameter? Why we can't use this Z, Y or H or ABCD parameters. So are you getting some idea, right? I'm not talking in terms of actually what simply exam point of view, right? This S parameter is actually what it's very, very important, right? If you are attending interview or something, for sure you may get a question based on S parameter, right? For instance, right, when I attended an interview last week, right, I got a question on this. And one more question which was asked was, right, what is the input impedance of an infinitely long transmission line? So such questions you may get, right? So so that was about Z and Y parameter. And can anyone tell me what is H parameter now? H parameter, again for same network, H parameter. H parameter is H11, H12, H21, H22. It's hybrid parameter, right? Hybrid parameter. So these, right, vacant spaces I should fill with voltages and current. So as it is hybrid, right? So it will be actually what? V1 and I2, right? V1 and I2 and I1 and V2. So using hybrid parameter, we can describe a network, or we can represent input voltage and output current. Right? Input voltage and output current can be described in terms of input current and output voltage. Right. So where the parameters are actually parameters describing the network are H11, H12, H21, H22. So here again, if you have to find H11, H22, you may have to make what? At times you may have to make I0. To make I0, current 0, you have to actually what? Open circuit. Right. At times you may have to make voltage 0. If you have to make voltage 0, you have to short circuit. So those are the things. Right. So I'm not writing it. I'm not expanding it, but it's just a review, right? Maybe later on, once we are familiar with S parameter, we'll try to see how to convert from S to this, S to Z, S to ABCD, and all those things, right? Then ABCD parameter. This is actually what this is, right? A widely used parameter. Why? Because if you have many networks which are cascaded, right? If you have many networks which are cascaded, right, then representing the network in terms of ABCD parameter is actually what? Easier. Why? Because the net representation, net description will be actually what? Product of individual networks ABCD parameters. So depending upon our need, or depending upon our application, we will use any of these, right? So maybe it depends upon application. So what is ABCD parameter, by the way? ABCD parameter, again, I had asked a question in prerequisite quiz about this ABCD parameter, Z parameters. It was for this particular module, right? It was for this particular module. In fact, right, I wanted to take this module right after this transmission line thing, but what we did is I thought we'll move on to antennas, right? Then we finish that antennas part, then we are moving on to this module 2, right? So can anyone tell me what is this ABCD parameter? It is VI only, right? So VI, it is, what is that? It is V1 and I1 can be represented in terms of V2 and I2. That is actually what? ABCD parameter. So these are the various parameters which are applicable for lumped circuit, right? Lumped circuit, lumped passive. Passive need not be passive, for active also we can define. So for that we need actually what? Equivalent circuits in terms of discrete components. If there is a transistor, you can actually what? Come up with this equivalent circuit, then you can define all these things, right? So okay, so these are the parameters which are used for lumped circuit, right? But these are not applicable for, right? I'm not telling not applicable, right? Finding or defining, right, distributed network using this, right? Finding the same for distributed network is actually what? Difficult. Why? Because one is short circuit or open circuit is actually what? Not, right, not practically possible, right? Not, it is possible of course, but it's we can't come up with perfect open circuit or perfect short circuit. And measuring V and I, right, we don't have any device to measure V and I directly at any given point, right? So because of that, in distributed network, what we should do is we should go for S parameter. So our first agenda was actually what, reviewing Z, Y, H, A, B, C, D parameters for two-port LUMD network. So that we have done. Then the next topic should be actually what, review of transmission line basics. So if you want to appreciate what is this S parameter, then we should review this transmission line basics, right? So before that, I'll just stop here. All are okay, right? All are with me, or maybe you are not actually what with this anymore, right? Everything is fine, right? Yeah, okay, fine, great. So we'll continue. So this is I'm telling, right, these things are not directly given in your textbook, right? So I'm referring some other actually what textbooks and other NPTEL videos as well, right? So I'll share that one NPTEL video is there that I'll share with you, of course, right? So in your textbook, nothing much is given. They have straight away started with the definition of actually what A and B. So that won't give you an idea. So I think the best way to teach this S parameter is to actually what, relate it with what you already know, right? So that part is not there in your textbook. So please do take it down, right? Even though I have asked you to what, submit note only till say the previous module, right? I request you to continue taking down notes. It's right, not only while you are studying here, right, but also later on, right, whenever you are attending a meeting. It need not always be using pen and paper. You can even use your mobile phone, right? You have actually what, many other notepad applications. Using that, you take notes, right? Definitely that is going to help you, right? So taking notes is a wonderful say thing, right? So definitely it will help you, right? Okay, fine. So we will move on to H parameter, and before that, some basics, right? Some review of transmission line, right? Review of, you already know this, right? But again, right? So a basic element in microwave network, it can be actually what, a transmission line. A transmission line is used to say carry microwave frequency from one point to another. Suppose I have a transmission line, I have placed it along z-axis, z from z equal to 0 to z equal to L, right? And I've connected my say generator here, right? And I've connected a load at the load end, right, at z is equal to L, right? So in this case, right, in this is actually what, this is a distributed component, right? Distributed, maybe I can see it as a distributed network, right? So in LUMD network, how did I define the port? I told any two terminal can be defined as a port. So this is a port, this is the same port. As long as it's a connecting copper wire, perfect conducting wire, I can consider along the length of that as the same port. So entire thing is port 1. Whereas it is not possible in the case of actually what, transmission line. Why? Because a simple way to explain that is, if I give a pulse at this end of transmission line, the transmission line is actually what, very long compared to the wavelength. For example, right, our overhead, this electric distribution cable, right? So that is actually what a typical example of transmission. Even though the frequency used there is actually what, very less, right? As the length spans actually what, thousands of kilometers, it's actually we can use actually what, distributed network theory to that. But that is not our case of interest. Our case of interest is actually what, high frequency circuits, right? So if I give a pulse here, the effect will not be available at this end at the same time. For it to travel this much distance, how long will it take? It will take a time, propagation time is equal to L by C. If the length is L, C is the velocity with which the effect is traveling. It will take some time. So if you give this a small pulse, it will reach here only after some time, L by C. So similarly, if you are giving, even though if you are giving a continuous sinusoid, each and every right point can be considered as an impulse, right? It will take some finite time to travel. So because of that, if you take snapshot of this voltage distribution or current distribution at any given time along the length of a transmission line, it will be actually what, it will be like this, right? Along the length, it's not constant. So because of that reason, right, I need to slightly change the definition of a port, right? So in LUM network, a port was a terminal, but here, even though this, right, I can't tell a port as a terminal. So in distributed network, port is actually what? A plane which is transfers to this, right? So a plane which is actually what? Which is perpendicular to this transmission line, that will be a port. So this is, I can call port 1, right? Another plane which is at a distance will be actually what? Port 2. The reason is, if you consider a distance z, right? If you consider a distance z, right? The voltage at this point will be V of z comma t. It is a function of space as well as time. Why? Because voltage is not constant. Even though these are pure conducting wires, the voltage along the length is not constant, because we have to consider the transit time effect, right? So V of z comma t, and current will be actually what? I of z comma t, right? This is what I told we have to consider, right? So first point itself actually what? Useful for distributed network, where space variable also to be considered. This is a meaning, right? This is a meaning. Now I'm telling, this is why I told we need to consider space variable also, right? So why? Because at any given distance z, voltage is a function of z and t. So this is actually called real instantaneous form. So this V of z comma t, you know, V of z comma t, it can be represented as actually what? Say if V naught was the V naught e power j omega t was the generated power, it will be V naught. What happens is, as you move along the length, right? As you move along the length, the wave will attenuate. So e power minus alpha z is there, V naught e power minus alpha z. And what happens, the phase also changes as with respect to z and t, right? So I can write it as actually what? Cos of omega t, right, minus beta z. It is actually what? Forward propagating wave. So similarly, we have actually what? We have reverse propagating wave also. That is what we have studied, right? If you have a transmission line, power, so if I give some power here, in fact, I tell it's actually energy, but I'll be using the loose term power. In almost all the textbook, they are using the power. So some power or energy is actually what? Traveling from left to right. So, and it sees a load impedance. If this load impedance, if ZL is equal to Z0, that is characteristic impedance of the transmission line, entire power will be delivered, no reflection. But if ZL is not equal to Z0, ZL is not equal to Z0, right? What will happen? A part of the power will be reflected. So there is incident power and there is reflected power, right? So and similarly, there is incident voltage and reflected voltage. So voltage which is traveling along positive z can be represented like this, and which is traveling along negative z can be represented as V naught e power plus alpha z cos of omega t plus beta z. So don't worry, right? So I'll just have a quick recap of this again, right? You don't have to worry about this, right? So at any given point, V of z comma t, right? So these are real instantaneous as a function of z and t. So if there are two variables involved, it is very difficult to analyze. So what we'll do is we'll conveniently use V of z comma t. We'll convert it into actually what? Phasor V of z, right? And that we'll call as actually what? Capital V. I of z comma t. We'll convert it into actually what? Phasor I of z. So what I've done is I've suppressed the time dependence by converting it into phasor domain, right? So this I'll be representing V and I. So this V and I, they will have actually what? Incident voltage plus V reflected voltage, and similarly current also I incident plus I reflected will be there. So it also makes actually what? The analysis a bit difficult, right? Whereas in LUM network it was V and I, right, phases, but here actually what? Incident and reflected are there. So that is actually an issue, right? That is actually an issue. So now you know. So if it is terminated in characteristic impedance, no reflection. If it is not, right, depending upon the deviation of the load impedance from characteristic impedance, right? If there is more mismatch, there will be more reflection. Why? Because reflection coefficient, you know, rho is actually what? ZL minus Z0 divided by ZL plus Z0. This is actually V reflected by V incident. So the more the deviation of ZL from Z0, more will be V reflected. So that is a measure. Reflection coefficient is a measure. So what I'll do is I'll just, for you to understand what actually is this S parameter, what I'll do is I'll just quickly have a recap. And now what we are going to do is we are going to write this voltage and current equations. in phasor form, and then the solution, and I'll tell you how this V and I are related to this A and B. That is what we are going to say today, right? So it is not available in textbook, so please do listen very carefully. It's not only for exam, it's actually for lifetime, right? It's lifetime. If you are appearing for, if you are right trying to write GATE, this is useful, right? So please make use of it, right? Please do make use of it, right? So for a transmission line, you know, the primary parameters are this transmission line. It's a distributed network. We can represent it as using its primary parameter. They are actually what? R, L, G, and C. They are actually what? Resistance, inductance, or series resistance, series inductance, and shunt conductance and shunt capacitance, right? These are primary parameters, right? And secondary parameters, if you remember, they are actually what? Gamma and Z naught, right? Gamma is actually what? Propagation constant. Z naught is actually what? Characteristic impedance. Where, can anyone tell me what was gamma and what was Z naught? Right? Can anyone tell me? Those who are giving me answer first, right? We'll get one extra mark. I'll count till 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5, and no one wants one extra mark, at least, right? You don't have to give extra mark, you give whatever mark we are supposed to get, right? This person is talking about extra mark, he's not even giving the mark which is supposed to be given, right, Savan?
Yes, sir. The answer is zy and root zy and root z by y.
Yes, right. Yeah, okay. Maybe I should tell right now RLGC when I tell. Maybe I can tell
Yeah,
Z also, right? So maybe okay. I'll tell about Z also now. So we have RLGC where I can write Z is equal to what? R plus J omega L. It is actually what? Series impedance, right? In ohm per meter, right? And Y is actually what? G plus J omega C. It is shunt admittance in mho per meter, right? Mho per meter. So this gamma will be root of Zy, and Z naught will be root of Z by Y. So these are the secondary parameters. So primary parameters are actually what? RLGCs, right? And the Z and Y are actually derived from that, right? R plus J omega L and G plus J omega C. When we are using phasor, we'll use it. So the important equations that govern the transmission line, do you remember that? So maybe telegraphist equation in phasor form, right? Equation in phasor form where dV by dz, where V is the voltage phasor, right? V is the voltage phasor, that was equal to minus Z into I, and di by dz is equal to minus Y into V. So these were the very basic equation. These are coupled equation. So then what we did, right? These were coupled equation. Then what we did is we took derivative of one with respect to Z, right? And the other with respect to, then we actually what? Substituted, and when we got what actually what? The transmission line equation in phasor form, d square V by dz square is equal to actually what? Gamma square V, and d square I by, sorry, dz square is equal to gamma square I. And then we understood this is an ordinary differential equation, right? A second order ordinary differential equation, and which is actually what? Homogeneous, right? Homogeneous ordinary differential equation. So we can write its auxiliary equation, and the root of auxiliary equation will be actually what? Plus or minus gamma. So what we got is we will get V is equal to V plus e power minus gamma Z plus V minus e power gamma Z. So after writing auxiliary equation, this is a voltage. So it actually what has two components. One is actually what? The one which is propagating in positive Z direction, that is forwarded, that V incident we can call, right? And the other one which is propagating in negative Z direction, that is actually what? V reflected, right? That is negative Z direction, V reflected. V plus e power minus gamma Z and V minus e power gamma Z, right? So, and similarly, what I can do is I can write I, right? Expression for I in terms of this V plus and V minus itself. We can write V plus by Z naught, right? I'm not doing the derivation again. We have done the derivation already, right? V plus by Z naught e power minus gamma Z. It is plus or minus? Can anyone tell me? V minus e power gamma Z by Z naught. Here it is plus or minus? It is minus. This is I. Right. So this is at any given distance. This is actually what V of Z and I of Z. If you consider voltage, if you take a snapshot at any given time, voltage at a distance Z will be given by this. Maybe at time t equal to 0, I can tell, right? Whatever. Right. So this is voltage and current equations. This is actually what voltage and current equations. So now from this what I can write is right. So I am calling it equation number 1, and this is equation number 2. Now I have to do slightly rearrangement. Why? Because from here I should take you to the S parameter equivalence, right? S parameter equivalence. For that I am going to do slight rearrangement. So till here all of us are familiar, right? So this was one of the questions, right? So maybe question number 2B was on, right, obtain the transmission line equation in phasor form. So this was what we were supposed to do. There I didn't ask for solution, but right, and I think even solution was asked in phasor form, right, in IA1, right? Okay. So from this 1 and 2, I can write, if I need to know what is V plus e power minus alpha z, right? If I need to know what is V plus e power minus alpha z, right? Or else this 2, I'll slightly rephrase, right? I can write I z naught is equal to V plus e power minus gamma z minus V minus e power gamma z. So this is my 2. So from 1 and 2, I need to find out what is V plus e power minus gamma z. How can I find out what is V plus e power minus gamma z? So I'll write here, maybe you can try it out. V plus e power minus gamma z can be written as, V plus e power minus gamma z can be written as actually what? If you add 1 and 2, what you will get? V plus I z naught is equal to twice V plus e power minus gamma z, and V minus e power gamma z term will get cancelled, right? So I can write it is V plus I z naught divided by 2, V plus I z naught divided by 2, right? And similarly I can write V minus e power gamma z as V minus I z naught divided by 2, right? I'm writing. So this is actually what my incident voltage, V incident. I can write V incident in terms of voltage and current, right? So please keep in mind what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to relate this voltage and current with A and B, right? So at any given point, right, at any given distance V, you see there will be some voltage V of Z and current I of Z, right? So these V and I are used in actually what are actual Z, Y, H, A, B, C, D, all those parameters, right? So this V and I have actually what incident voltage and reflected voltage. So this V in turn will be actually what V incident plus V reflected, right? V incident and V reflected. So what I have done is I have represented V incident in terms of actually what is voltage and current, right? Actual voltage and current, and V reflected. This is actually what V reflected in terms of actual voltage and current. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay, I hope it's clear. I assume it's clear, right? So now what I'm going to do is, right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly rearrange it. So I'm calling it equation number 3, and this is equation number 4. Right, I'm going to slightly rearrange it. Right, I'm going to slightly rearrange it. So this V plus e power minus gamma z, I can write it as, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 root z naught out from this. Root z naught by 2 I'm going to take common, right? So root of z naught by 2. There is a reason why we are doing this. I'll come to it later. But now please, right, it's slight rearrangement. That's it. Slightly I'm rearranging. Root of z naught by v if I take. So what will be there here? Here I will get v by root z naught, where z naught is the characteristic impedance, right? V by root z naught plus I times root z naught. So I'll get this. So I'm calling it equation number 5. And similarly here I will get V minus e power gamma z to be equal to, again, root z naught by 2 times V by root z naught minus I times root z naught. So I am calling it equation number 6. Right. I am calling it equation number 6. Right. So then, right, I am calling it equation number 6. All of you please take it down. I'll give you some time. Right. I'll give you some time. All of you please take it down. Right. Sorry. Right. Yeah. So now, right, I hope all of you are able to take it down. Now I'm going to define the parameter A, right? I'm going to define the parameter A, right? That is equal to V incident divided by root Z naught, right? I'm going to define the parameter A, that is V incident divided by root Z naught. That is actually what? V plus e power minus gamma Z divided by root Z naught, and that will be equal to 1 by 2 V by root Z naught plus I times root Z naught, right? I times root Z naught. So this is actually what? Parameter A. This is parameter A or variable A, right? Now I'm going to define B, right? Now I'm going to define B as B will be B reflected divided by root Z naught, right? I know it won't make any sense now, but today I'm only deriving till how I can represent A in terms of B. In next class, I'll explain it in detail, right? So today, only this much. Slowly we'll, not a problem, right? So V reflected divided by root Z naught, that is V minus e power gamma Z divided by root Z naught, and that will be equal to, I can write here, B is equal to 1 by 2 V by root Z naught minus I times root Z naught. 1 by 2 V by root Z naught minus I times root Z naught. This is how I can, so this A and B, right? So in S parameter equivalent, what will happen is B will be represented as S times A, right? A is some incident quantity. A is actually what? Some quantity, we don't know what is that, right? Whether it is voltage, it's not voltage, it's not current, right? But I'm telling it has got something to do with the power, incident and reflected power. A is related to incident power and B is related to actually what? Reflected power, but we don't know what is that relation. But right, for instance, A is this. A is actually what? Incident variable, right? B is reflected variable. So what this S parameter does is B can be represented as S times A. So B1, B2 will be actually what? Matrix X times A1, A2, like that. So we'll study that, we'll see that later. So similarly from this, so I'll call it equation number 7. This is equation number 7 and this is equation number 8. So from 7 and 8, I can straight away write, right, V can be written in terms of A and B. So I can write now V is equal to, right, please verify this, V can be written as A plus B times root of Z naught. If you add A and B, A plus B, if you add half plus half, it will be, right. So it will be half V by root Z naught plus half V by root Z naught. That will be actually what? V by root Z naught, and this half I Z naught, I root Z naught, and minus half I root Z naught, that will get cancelled. So it is V by root Z. A plus V will be actually what? V by root Z naught. So V will be actually what? A plus B into Z naught. So that's how I can represent V in terms of A and B. So please note it down. It's very, very important, right? Very, 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 very important, right? So then similarly, I can write I as actually what? It is A minus B divided by root Z naught. Similarly, I can write I as A minus B divided by root Z naught. So this is how in the conversion. What I have taught you now is V and I you can represent in terms of actually what? A comma B, and A comma B you can represent in terms of V and I. What I've done is I started from the very basic thing which you know about transmission line. From there I developed, right? So I admit you don't know what actually is this A and B, right? You don't know what actually is this A and B. So in next class we'll prove, right? I'll take a single port network and I'll prove incident power P incident will be actually what? Half times mode of A square, right? And reflected power P reflected will be half times mode of B square. This we'll prove in next class. You will see it in next class. But for the time being, right, please be comfortable with these things, right? So I've just defined B, A and B, right, in terms of B and C. But later on, we'll get to know power incident can be represented as actually what? Half times magnitude of A square, and power reflected as half times magnitude of B square, right? And any network we can represent as I'll wind up. Last 1 minute, I'll wind up. Right. So A is incident quantity. B is actually what reflected quantity. Right. It's related to incident power and reflected power. And similarly, this is port 1, and in port 2, A is incident. So A will be actually what incident. B is actually what reflected. So S parameter network, what it does is this B. So I'll call it B1A1 and B2A2. Right. So B1 and B2 in S parameter equivalent can be represented as S11, S12, S21, S22 times A1 and A2. So this is S parameter equivalent. So that is what we are going to see in next class. So it's already 4:59. I'm just stopping it here. Right. I hope so. Is it clear? Please do give me genuine feedback. Right. Why? Because I'm not teaching it to you mere for exam. Why? Because if you don't study this, right, you will not study it anywhere else. If you miss it, that is gone. You are right. Electronics and communication engineering itself will be meaningless. So right, it's my responsibility to teach you this as parameter. So did you understand something what we have done? Right. So okay, and one more thing. So I'll just off the record. I have to tell you something. I'll just stop recording.